Hello, future scientists! It's Miss May, and I'm very excited to introduce to you part 1 of our Ask a Marine Scientist video series. You had some amazing questions about the ocean, and through my own work as a marine scientist at the University of California, Santa Barbara, which is just right down the street from you, Room 8, I was able to get in touch with even more scientists who were very excited to answer some of your questions. So here they are.
Hi, I'm Anne. I'm a marine ecologist and I'm going to be answering a couple questions. The first that I'll start with is Ellie's question. Are there any bugs living in the ocean? That's a great question, Ellie. There aren't technically bugs in the ocean, but there are things called arthropods. So arthropods are animals that have external skeletons. That means that instead of having bones inside their bodies, they have all of their hard structure outside their bodies. So arthropods live in the ocean and on land, but the ones that live in the ocean are super cool because they can breathe like fish by passing water over their gills to take oxygen into their bodies. They can also live from the shallowest beaches to the deepest depths of the ocean, so there are lots of different habitats that you can look for arthropods in. And you've probably already seen a marine arthropod if you've been to the grocery store recently. Crabs, shrimps, and lobsters are all arthropods. So, while you're not going to be seeing bugs like aphids or leafhoppers in the ocean, you're definitely going to see arthropods like horseshoe crabs, California spiny lobsters, or mantis shrimp.
Hi there, my name is Connor, and I'm a marine scientist at UC Santa Barbara. I'm here today to talk to you about the depth of the ocean. The first question I saw was, how deep is the ocean? That's kind of a tricky question because it really depends on where you are in the ocean. In some places it's really deep, and in other places it's actually quite shallow. That being said, the average depth of the ocean is about 12,000 feet deep. That's equal to about 10 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of each other. So pretty deep.
Hi everybody, my name's Joe. I'm a marine scientist at UCSB and I'm here to answer Camilla's awesome question about why corals have so many different colors. So one main reason that corals can be so colorful is because they use color as a kind of sunscreen. In the same way that if you're outside and you're wearing all black clothes, you might change into something with lighter colors, maybe put on a white t-shirt in order to be cooler out in the sun. Corals do the same thing. They'll have different colors that help them best adapt to the environment that they're in, whether it's too hot or too cold. They can change their color and take on certain colors in order to best survive in their environment. Another reason that corals have colors is actually not because of the corals themselves, but it's because of these algae, these plant-like creatures that live inside of the cells of the corals. And those critters, they sit in there, they take in the sun, and they have colors of their own. So some corals don't have any color actually. It's all because of these brown and yellow algae that live inside of the coral itself. What happens when it gets too hot is that those algae are actually kicked out of the cells of the coral, and that's something called coral bleaching. And what you end up with is completely white corals, and that's actually the color of the coral skeleton itself. So if you ever see pictures of a coral reef and it's all white, that might have been something that happened, is that those corals got too hot and they kicked out all of those brown and yellow algae, and you end up with a stark white coral reef.
The second ocean depth related question is, how deep is the Mariana Trench? Well, for anybody who doesn't know, the Mariana Trench is a deep sea canyon located in the Pacific Ocean. The deepest part of the Marianas Trench is about 36,000 feet deep. Now that's really deep. That's about 30 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of each other.
My name is Kai Kopecki. I'm a PhD student here at UCSB. This question was asked by Nick. How do hydrothermal vents pop out the boiling water? And what I think that means is, how do hydrothermal vents shoot out really hot water even though they're at the bottom of the ocean, which is very cold? The way I think about it is that hydrothermal vents are these places where the seafloor has kind of split open, which allows water to get down deep into the Earth's crust, where it's much warmer because there's lots of like magma and lava and stuff like that down there. And then this water kind of gets very, very heated up, just like if you put a pot of boiling water on top of a stove and turn on the burner really high. So once this water gets really hot, it basically starts boiling and shoots back out through that opening in the seacrest, the seafloor. And while it's doing all that, it's kind of mixing in with these different kinds of chemicals that lots of little critters really like. They like them for eating and for nutrients and things like that. And so you get all these really, really cool communities of organisms that you may have seen some cool videos of and photos and things like that. I think hydrothermal vents are one of the most interesting ecosystems and habitats on the planet. So I'm glad that Nick thinks so too.
Hi, my name is Danielle and I am a marine scientist at UC Santa Barbara, and today I'll be answering some questions that you asked about ocean exploration. Andrew asked the great question, have we explored the entire ocean yet? And on a similar note, Sienna asked, how long will it take us to make more ocean discoveries? Those are really awesome questions. And to answer the first one, no, we have not explored the entire ocean yet. There are many different types of ways that we could explore the ocean. One way is called sonar mapping, where sound waves are actually bounced off of the bottom of the ocean, and that returns a picture of what the seafloor looks like. And we can use sonar to make really detailed maps of the seafloor and all of its features, which could include things like underwater canyons or volcanoes, or even things like shipwrecks. And while we're making more of these maps every single year, we haven't gotten to every single part of the ocean yet. Right now, we have about 1/5 of the planet's ocean floor mapped. But some groups have made a goal to map the entire ocean by 2030. And as we do more exploring, we're able to make lots of discoveries like finding new species or figuring out where important marine habitat is. So there's a lot of progress being made. Thank you for those questions.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm a first-year PhD student here at UC Santa Barbara, and your question is, do you know how or if the trash is going away anytime soon? Well, a lot of the trash that ends up in the ocean is from human activity along our coastlines. So say you're walking along the beach and you come across a cigarette butt or a plastic water bottle or a straw. Well, those things get swept into the ocean, and you might have heard of something called the Great Garbage Patch, which is a patch of garbage in the middle of the ocean caused by rotating ocean currents. And there are a bunch of these, and there's a bunch of trash in the ocean. So to answer your question, it's kind of complicated, but there are people and things working towards reducing the trash and hopefully eliminating all of it in the ocean in the near future. There are nonprofit organizations such as 4Ocean. You might have heard about their bracelets. They sell bracelets, and with every bracelet that is sold, they'll pick up 1 pound of trash out of the ocean. There's also the Ocean Cleanup, which is working on the Great Garbage Patch by taking these huge nets and filtering plastic out of the water. There are also local things that you can do, such as going to beach cleanups and cleaning up our beaches along our coastline in your neighborhoods. And you can do things as reduce your plastic intake. So using reusable water bottles, refusing to use plastic straws when you go to restaurants, not using plastic utensils. So there's a lot of things that we can do on an individual level as well as an organizational level, with these nonprofit organizations helping out and also pushing bigger corporations to stop using as much plastic as they're using to reduce the trash that's in the ocean. But again, there are ways and solutions that are happening right now to reduce the trash in the ocean.
Well, that concludes part 1 of our video, and I hope to see you very soon for part 2. But before we go, I would like to extend a very special thank you to all of the scientists who took the time to answer your ocean questions. And I would also like to thank you for your interest in ocean ecosystems and, even more importantly, how we can protect them moving forward. See you soon.